I just messed up the first video. It's because I don't have a prop to sit my phone on, and I couldn't figure out how to close it. Hello, hello. Okay, and I still can't obviously figure it out tonight. I don't have my props like I have my joystick at home. Anyway, so this is Melissa. I just wanted to come and say hello. I have been on vacation, as Neil said, and I have also had like 18 seconds to myself to breathe. And with those 18 seconds, I've been on vacation. Sort of. I'm working on setting up a condo so I can rent it so that someone else can enjoy a vacation because I have to go work. And I also have had a few minutes to myself, which also means I've had 1,000 phone calls. I've actually talked to a lot of store owners and other people this week, in the last 2 weeks, and it's just been interesting because I kind of hear the same thing over and over and over. So I thought, okay, well, Neil's going to go on. He's going to overwhelm us with a whole bunch of information, facts, and nerdy information, which is really important, which is why I call him, because I'm like, I don't know what all these numbers mean. I know they're important and they're on this piece of paper and they came through an email, but I don't know, you know, is it like really, really important? Like on a scale of 1 to 10. Hey guys, how are you? Tanya, how are you? Thank you so much for picking up those cases. I hope they work out. So Neil, hello. You did. I mean, gosh, you overwhelmed me tonight. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to be on my Keys and Q's. So I am a mom, of teeny tiny people. So today has been really exciting in my life. The state of Georgia, 4 or 5 districts went virtual today. So yeah, that's super interesting. So for those of you guys who are like, okay, I haven't had teeny tiny children in a long time, that means that you are going to have a lot of togetherness with your children. And in my case, I'm a single family income home, and I also happen to own my stores, and I run my stores, and I work just a tiny bit. Do you guys know what I'm saying? I know you guys don't know what I'm saying, right? And with COVID, I've worked even a tiny bit more, and now they're saying that my children have to learn from home virtually, and so I need to be home to walk through it with the teacher virtually and assist my children to learn school. But no, wait, my children go to private school because my son is autistic, and it's very important that he go to his specialized school. So we need you to pay that money so that he can learn virtually through you. And, oh, by the way, since you also work, you got to pay for a babysitter. So, yay! I say that to say it's a crazy, crazy world right now. And there's a lot. You know, the first thing I thought about today when everything happened and all the news feeds, you know, for my area blew up was, oh my gosh, what does that do to my customer? And then my second question was, okay, so these moms are going to be at home and they're going to need a lot more alcohol. And they're going to need some sanity. Like, I have been thinking of some of the craziest things today. I even thought, I was like, I should have like a 12 o'clock online feed of 30 minutes and call it like Mom's Time, where I just entertain the kids for 30 minutes on video, and Mom can just stick the kids in front of it. And I promise not to be, you know, bad, or I would all be educational and I'd read a book or whatever it is. Like, yes. And then I thought about that and I thought, okay, so here's the deal. I'm in Atlanta, so everyone's different. If you've watched the news at all, I think we're heading towards another shutdown. Okay, don't freak out. So we all got blindsided last time. We did not see that coming. We all were like, what just happened? And you know, I think some of us are still dealing with a little PTSD coming out of that. I understand. So here's the deal. It's coming. It's coming, and it's coming faster than I think some of us had anticipated. So what are you going to do to offset it? And I'm not even just talking about online. I'm talking about just in general. You're going to have to think outside the box. So I read a story today because I'm spending all my time, I'm trying not to look at the news too much because it's a little intense. And I read a story of a couple who had a marketing company, okay? So they had absolutely, Kristen, alcohol pouches would be amazing. And I read a story of a couple, and right before COVID hit, they had a marketing company. It was relatively small. It paid their income, you know, paid for their child they have. You know, they wrote a story and they were like, you know, we weren't really high maintenance. We didn't have a ton of bills, but, you know, we maintained it. Well, COVID hit, and they said they basically would have gone bankrupt overnight. And they were just, you know, when you get desperate. So here's the deal. How many of you guys have come up with your craziest, best ideas when you are the most desperate. I don't know about you. I totally have come up with some crazy, stupid ideas that have worked. There's been a whole bunch of those in the non-working category, but I've come up with some good ones. So this couple, as a last-ditch effort, realized that everyone was using hand sanitizer, and their marketing company, right? So, and I think you can Google this. I can't remember what their name was, but I saw it, and it made me want to stand up and cheer for them and be a little bit of jealous. So it's a two-way street. So they made a hand sanitizer, a stand-up sanitizer, just for a company, and they put their logo on the outside. Okay, so that seems really like, duh, right? They've done $6 million in sales, $6 million with an M, $6 million in sales, just the two of them, since COVID hit. So it's been, they said, about 4.5 months since they got it up and off the ground and running. And all they're doing was, her husband built the box or something. Just put hand sanitizer on a box, but it was like a freestanding billboard. Okay, so like Neil said, there's so many subscriptions, and people, just only want so many subscriptions. So we really need to think outside the box. Live videos are fantastic. They're keeping me alive right now. Online website. Oh my gosh. eBay. Shoot me now, but it's there. Poshmark. I don't drink enough. Mercari. I know it's out there. I'm just not sure where, but it's there. What are we going to do? Beyond, we have to give some relief. If you're feeling stressed, your customers are feeling stressed. So I'm talking really silly things. Today, I was in a store and they had these little tiny prepackaged cookies. And I know this seems really, really dumb. And I mean, we've done some of this stuff before. They were so good. They were so good. Like, I'm at that stage right now where food makes me happy and it takes away the stress for 3.5 minutes. And I ordered them. Okay, so that's not going to fix the world. But at this point, we have to step beyond. And you know what? We may get shut down again. Or we may not get shut down, but the whole world is so scared nobody comes out. Okay, but the 4 people that come out, I want them to have that cookie. And I want them just to be as amazed as I am. And if not, then they'll just have to eat a different cookie. You have to do something different. Like, you guys are going to have to step out of the box, myself included. And I'm just really thinking about this. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. And I have, like I said, I've had a lot of people call me. They've done the whole panic phone call. Listen, I've had a few panic phone calls myself. Usually I call Neil and then melt down. And he's like, are you done? I'm exhausted. So it's crazy out there. I've been gone for 2 or 3 weeks. My employees are overwhelmed. They are super stressed. In the middle of the pandemic, I bought a condo in another state because, see, I went into escrow and did everything before the pandemic hit, like a week before the pandemic hit, and I had too much money down. So you have to make lemons out of lemonade. I came down, I've worked through a whole bunch of scenarios, and finally the scenario that we chose was the riskiest. But my realtor was like, you're a business owner, you should be used to risk. I'm like, I know, but my tolerance for like risk right now is just really, really nil. And he's like, well, I need you to suck it up. And I was like, okay. Ellen, how are you? Ellen, I'm so excited for your new adventures in life. So, and by the way, last Sunday, I got really brave with a couple margaritas, and I signed a lease to rent a space, a storefront space, at like $40 a square foot to use for storage. Not literally storage, but that's what my landlord said. She was like, so you want to rent a storefront space for storage? And I was like, are you going to let me put a pod out back? And she's like, no. And I was like, okay. So now we have another expense. And then, of course, all the schools are shutting down and my city's shutting down. So I've been really trying not to hyperventilate this week. But, the thing is you have to find something, you have to see it, you have to go through it, and you're fine. Okay, and of course, I know you guys are going to be like, what are you doing with a storage space? So I got a storage space, and I had a whole argument with Neil about it. It's fabulous. What I love about Neil is I can totally call him and be like, so here's what it is. I'm really excited about it. And he's like, don't do it. And I'm like, you just crushed my dream. But I really want to debate this. So I love that. I love that we have in this organization people that we can call when we're having a moment or those crazy ideas and say, this is my crazy idea. Like, please cheer me on. And they're like, no, go get a taco and stop it. So anyway, we met in the middle on that argument. I did lease the space, and I leased the space for a couple different reasons. But most importantly, it is technically my online studio. It's really what it is. So I am sitting here thinking, whoo, okay, so I really did that. I really leased a space, a storefront space for an online studio. So that online studio not only has to pay for itself, but it's got to hold the weight of the stores. So I really, 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 really believe that this time next year, we are going to be rocking. Like seriously, I'm not just saying that. I can just feel it in my bones. I feel like this time next year, people are going to be bursting out of their house. They're going to have seen you guys all throughout this whole thing. You guys are going to come up with something super inventive and different to give them, whether that is story time. Kirsty is fabulous at stuff like this, or you know, a drive, or right now we are dealing with massive food shortage in the pantries. So I plan to do that when I get home. So I think sometimes, and I don't know about you, but sometimes when I'm panicking and I'm freaking out and I'm totally like first world problems, like if I go outside of my zone and see what else my community needs and maybe take my focus off of myself for 18 seconds, I am able to, number one, refocus, and it also makes my issues seem more minute. You know, I'm trying to figure out how to run a store. Somebody's trying to figure out how to feed their family, okay? So taking that a moment, you know, I'm trying to figure out how I can afford a babysitter and school and all this other stuff. And again, a mom's trying to figure out how she can even feed her children more than one meal a day. So redoing that and also doing it with your community, I also think takes a focus off of that as well for them. They want to do something, they want to contribute, they want to give back, but they're freaking out and they don't know how. So you are going to be their wheelhouse to do that. It doesn't have to be food, it can be whatever it is. You know, do you need to send care packages, you know, to your moms? You know, have your mom sign up. What about a weekly, you know, style package? I don't know, a weekly wine video. You don't sell anything, you just talk about whatever, you know, the hot guys club. Whatever works. You guys just need to think. I am really, really thinking about this a lot, and I have really thought about it today, which is why I wanted to come on. Hey Cheryl, hey Krita, Garrett, Jerry, how are you? We have this. You guys have not made it this far. And some of the phone calls I definitely got were, I'm done, I'm exhausted. And I'm like, girl, you have worked way too hard to make it through the craziest thing that you will probably ever face as an owner. We are almost there. I can see the top of the mountain. We're gonna have a lot more trekking to do, but your buns are gonna look fabulous when you get to the top of that mountain, okay? So we're going to keep going. We're going to keep trekking through. We have to think outside the box and go ahead and prepare for a shutdown and be okay with that. What does a shutdown look for you? Does that mean more online? Does that mean working 88 hours a week, or does that actually mean working really hard Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then shutting it down because you're saving on payroll? You know, remember, they always say bigger is not necessarily always better, okay? So you have all these people and they're doing all this stuff for you, but you know, if you're making $1,000 and you've had a great day and you've made $1,000, but you've taken all these employees to do it and it's really cost you like $1,200 to do that, is it really beneficial? This is where the dollar and cents comes in. So you guys have to step back from your business and really, really look at it this way. What could you do with yourself and one or two other really strong people? What if you made $1,000 or you made $800, but you actually got to keep $300 of it versus the $1,000 day costing you $1,200? I'm not telling you anything that I have not been thinking about. I've been writing sheets. You know, we had a really decent day today actually in both stores, and I actually went back and did a cost analysis, and we lost money today because we had too many people working. So if we had done that during COVID when we were shut down, the same amount of money, we would have made, you know, a good amount of profit. Step back. Do not feel like you have to conquer the world. Do not feel like you need to be taking on online and all this other stuff. Find your niche and do it well. The customers that do come in, if you're not closed down yet, give them a cookie, give them wine, have a margarita with them. Just do something that's different. What is different? Think outside of retail. You have a lot of plant people in your area? What about a pack of seeds with some instructions? Have you thought, if you cook, okay, I know for a fact there's a whole, and I see a couple of you watching. Y'all can cook like there is nobody's business. Like, I am so glad I do not live near you because I would be as big as a house. I mean, oh my gosh. I went on a trip one time with Sonia, and if I ate the way she cooked, I would be huge, and I would be fabulously okay with that because it is absolutely delicious. You guys can cook. Vina is baking something every day. Every day she's got some fabulous recipes she's sending me pictures of. Why don't you guys do a video once a week of cooking? Do you know how many people will follow you? And it just automatically translates to your business. We are going into the second phase of this. I don't know what that second phase looks like. I don't know that phase looks like shutdown, or not shut down, but very little customers, very little walk-in traffic. I don't know what that looks like, but you need to stay in front of your customers and you need to do it sanely. You also need to be a priority this time. I was not that. Last shutdown, I went into craze mode. I was working seriously like 14 hours a day, 7 days a week for, I can't even remember, it was like 97 days without stopping. We can't do that again. That is what's gonna send us off the edge. You have your employees. Next week is gonna be a really big week. Next week is going to talk about unemployment and benefits and all that other stuff. You know, we've had to furlough them before. Do you have to furlough them again? You're going to have to make some really hard choices, and that is okay, because at the end of the day, it's your business. You got to make it through, but you need to step outside the box. And whatever that box looks like, shortening your hours, do not be scared to do it. Be the best version of you in whatever that version is. So if the best version of you looks like 2 days open because you make enough money in those 2 days, because you have such a fabulous following and you've created relationship and you also have had some rest and they can see that. People right now need comfort, they need encouragement, and they need reality. And they are not getting that in the media. They are not getting that in the news. It is a lot of fear right now. So what can you do to come into their lives and give them a break from that? Because that's really why they shop our live sales. How many people watch our live sales and don't buy anything? They are there just because they need something away from the noise. They need something that is fun and silly, or you might say something outrageous or show something outrageous, you know, and then if they see something they love, great. But be that person, and we really need to think outside of the store. We need to go beyond the store. What is it? They've been talking about this for a long time. And hey, Judy, they've been talking about this for a long, long time. In retail and, you know, online, and how online is going to take over the world. And I actually think COVID actually proved that point wrong. I think COVID proved that brick and mortar is extremely important and just as fiercely competitive. So we are going to be relative, and we are going to be important, and we are going to kill it when that market reopens and the world goes back out. But in the meantime, what can you do? On Sunday, I actually posted a picture, and I posted on my website, not my website, on email, and it was a picture of me paddleboarding. It was not sexy. But I sent it out and I simply said, this is what brings me joy. This is what's joyful to me. You know, this is why I love it. I find peace. I feel like I have a moment to talk to God. I feel like I have a moment to just collect my thoughts. And I make the point of not doing it very often, which is not fair to me. I can't be the best mom, boss, leader, whatever it is, if I don't take time for myself. And every time I take time for myself, I'm also reminded, wow, I need that time for myself. I should do this more often. And then of course I forget to. But this is what I said in the email. And I was like, you know, I want to take a moment to tell you I love it. It's beautiful. It brings me joy. What brings you joy? Please tell me. Feel free to email me back. Oh my gosh, y'all, I got so many. I was responding to emails half the night. People were sending me emails all night long. I don't even know these people. And they were like, oh my gosh, I loved your email. Thank you so much. I have started taking cooking. I have started sewing. I have started crocheting. I have started planting. This is the stuff that brings me joy. They want to talk about something other than what's happening in the world. So what is it that you can do to make that? Oh my gosh, yes, secondhand is going to be insane. We just have to get to that point. So, and I know it's really scary. So just take a look at your numbers. Be realistic with yourself. Step outside the box. Step outside of the retail box. Step outside. Okay, well, the furniture stores don't count because y'all are crushing it right now. Crushing it on 95 different avenues, which is amazing. But for the retail stores, I know some of you guys, because you called me, are really struggling. My stores are definitely not optimal right now. But it is what it is, and we're pulling back where we need to, and we have a plan. We have been taking off season now for 2 months because we've only been open 2 months, and you know, my employees thought I had lost my mind, but I did it for a reason, because I knew we would end up probably shutting down because Atlanta is a hot spot and is pretty controversial and pretty intense. So no big deal. I personally thought we would probably start shutting down closer to the cooler season, like flu season. I would have never anticipated August, and I'm really hoping they don't do it in August, but ooh, that's not looking good right now in the news. So if they shut down right now, I have have exactly enough inventory to rock and roll with new videos and new stuff for at least 2.5 months. And that's why I did it. And it was really cool for one of my managers to say to me last week. She said, you know, I do like you sometimes. You're a little crazy and you work like a crazy person. You expect us to work like a crazy person. And I'll be honest with you, there's a few times in the last couple of months that I have thought you have really lost it because of the amount of income coming in. But seeing what's happening, now I understand, because it's our jobs. We would literally have nothing to fall back on. And I'm like, you're right, because I'm trying to take care of y'all and I'm trying to take care of it. On that same token, and I'm only going to say this because I've actually had someone ask me this today. She was very frustrated with some of her employees and some of the work ethic. So here's the deal. Don't be scared to bring your employees into the fold. If your employees are not the type of people that you want to trust and share stuff with, they shouldn't be your employees. And I know that seems really harsh, but y'all, we are in some crisis time right now. You need to have people who have your back right now. And you don't need those people if that's not what it is. If you don't feel like you can share stuff with them, if you don't feel like you guys are in this together, you need a new staff. You need a new army and football team with you. It's not working. My staff has come around. We have had to get rid of some of those apples, and that's okay. And some people have left on their own. Some people we've just not asked back. Right now we have a very small core group of employees, and man, they are dynamite. And it really means something. Like at the end of the day, we're all cheering to get to a certain number. I actually told my manager yesterday, or the day before yesterday, she said, okay, Shutdown's looking pretty hot. What's the plan? I said, the plan is, here are our numbers. And I put them up on a board. This is our rent. This is electrical. And this is staffing right now, what we got. I don't care if we make a dime of profit in the next 4 to 6 months. We got to cover those bills so that you guys can keep your job and we can stay open so we can ride that second wave. And she was like, I got it. And she shared it with my employees. And it does a couple things. Number one, it allows your employees to take ownership. And some of them were like, wow, we really cost that much? I'm like, yes. And the taxes. And I separated the two. And they were like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, exactly. So listen, when I want you to do these numbers and we're going after this goal, it's not because I'm buying a yacht. It's because I want you to be successful and I want you to have a job. And some of these women that are working for me need 40 hours a week. They cannot afford not to have 40 hours a week. They need that paycheck. And some of them are going to be dealing with this whole school situation, which means they are going to need to as well make sure that they can work odd hours with me and still teach their kids at school. Because see, we as a small business are able to provide what the regular corporations cannot. So yes, I know there's a lot to think about. So hopefully now Neil has overwhelmed you, and then I have brought in more overwhelmingness. And that you guys will have a wonderful evening. So step outside your box and share with us here some of the things you're talking about or some of the things you're thinking. Do you want to read children books every night? Do you want to plant seeds? Do you want to do a cooking show? I totally think some of you guys should do a cooking show. In fact, you guys could do it together on Zoom and you would be millionaires overnight. You wouldn't even have to work on consignment stores ever again. So think outside the box. You guys are going to be fine. It is not easy. We just have to be smart about it. Neil is there to help you run over all this stuff and tell you you're crazy. Yes, exhausted all the time is definitely a good. So now going into this second phase of COVID, what are we going to do to make sure that we don't hit that level of crazy that we did last time, but still stay above water? And get your employees involved. They need to be involved. You guys sacrificed a lot to maintain it and to keep it this far, and you guys have the ability to finish it off. So get your employees involved, fire the ones who don't want to be involved, and buy them food. Food is amazing. Food goes a long way. Milkshakes at 2:30 in the afternoon after 14 people have cussed you out on the website or live videos. Milkshakes go a long way. It is the best $9.46 investment from Chick-fil-A that I can ever do. Ashley, how are you? Your little chunk-a-monk is so cute. I can't believe how big he's getting. Kristen, you're allowed to be grumpy. I have had so many days where I am like, I'm not peopling today. I can't people today. Here's the thing. We have so few customers coming in at this point that really, we just have to suck it up and be super extra awesome to them because they're coming out. They're coming out, all 3 of them in an 8-hour period. And don't be scared. I know that does. I know some of you, because I've talked to you this week. You're like, I was at my store today from 10 to 6:30 and 2 people came in, plus the mail person. And I'm like, okay, well, did they buy anything? And they're like, one person did. She bought a pair of socks for $3.50. I'm like, well, it's $3.50 you did not have. What did you do to entice them or get them in? And y'all, it is our party. As Neil says, we are the governor of our world and our stuff. Hello, it is time for sales. It is time for surprise flash live videos. It is the time for all this other stuff. We have some craziness coming next week. We're going to do 3 days of flash sales just via live video. It is going to drive us crazy. We're going to have a whole bunch of special people. We've already figured out a way. What we're going to do is 3 days of sales, 2 videos a day for 3 days. They're 50% off. It's the old stuff we want to get rid of. Still good stuff, but we need to get rid of it because we're still liable to consigners to be selling that stuff. So we need to make some room in our stores because I don't know about you, but I'm literally about to fall under the avalanche of inventory. It is insanity. So we are going to do 3 days of sales and shipping will be $10. You're going to pay shipping in the very beginning and then you don't pay shipping again, but we're also not shipping everything until Tuesday. So we're going to hit it. We're going to hit it hard, and we're going to see if we can move and groove that inventory because it is July. Every July, I do a 50% off sale in my store, and in 3 days, we usually do about $65,000 in sales. So our goal this year is just $6,000. I don't know. At this point, you know, goals. I mean, what are goals? You have to be more realistic. We just want to cover payroll at this point. It's a very different world. I know many of you guys are doing the same thing. Last month, we did 41% of what we did last month last year. It was like, ooh, look at that. Ooh. So stressful, so stressful. Vicky, how are you? Vicky, you've got the cutest posts. And oh my gosh, that drop off you just got in was fabulous. Honestly, your posts always cheer me up. Every time you post on Instagram, it is just like a ray of sunshine. Hey, Kathy, how are you? I love your store. You guys do such a great job at Too Good to Be True. So, and happy 41-year anniversary. So, all right, ladies, gentlemen, whoever's still watching, I will talk to you guys later. There's my pep talk. Has nothing to do with numbers. It has to do with get out. You can do this. Be different. Step outside the box. Actually, just throw the box away. Okay? It's a different world. Try something different. Bye.